Yes, that laugh, which means only one person, Sheila Kennedy. Sheila, lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Sheila, among all the multifarious other duties you had to perform while you were here at Westward, you also became known as Gus Honeybun's mum.
Oh,
now, how did
yes.
that start? What started all that?
Well, I think that was because I was, you know, the first woman to ever sort of play with Gus, as they say, if I can say that. And I think it just evolved because it was great fun doing Gus in those days. You know, we used to do stories and things like that, and I used to sort of make up little games and things, you know, and ideas of where he'd been during the day. And in fact, he used to be very good because we had a marvellous scheme one year for Guy Fawkes Night. Yeah. And we thought, now what can we do for Guy Fawkes Night, you see? So we had Gus dressed up in bandages and a splint, and he had his arm up, and I think even an ear was in a splint, you know. And he looked absolutely dreadful. And we had all the children writing in and saying, you know, write in poems and tell us how stupid Gus has been, you see, because he'd actually held a firework in his hand. And after that, you know, on the actual Guy Fawkes Night, the accident rates throughout the West Country went down quite a lot, and we were very pleased about that. But he was such fun to be with.
Yes, he was. Well, you were also something of a journalist when our programme information was carried in the journal Look Westward. What sort of things were you writing about in those days?
Oh, darling, they were lovely hints that everybody used to write in, you know. You used to get lovely handy hints for things like recipes and things to put on your face, and marvellous things that would make your feet feel better and things like that. And that was all things, really, that people just wrote in and told you about.
Helpful
you know,
hints for the West Country.
Oh, it was indeed.
Tell me, Sheila, was there ever any part of being a television announcer with which you weren't 100% delighted?
Well, I think, really and truly, I think it might have been to do with newscasting, and I'm sure, you know, lovely Angela, who'll be with us later, you know, will say that it's not that way, but I used to get very upset sometimes about some of the news that we had to read out.
As the first woman on Westward Television, are your recollections of a happy working atmosphere?
Oh, yes, indeed, yes. It was absolutely marvellous. I think the marvellous thing about it was I came from the theatre and didn't know a thing about television, and the marvellous thing was I could learn about time on the air, and all the viewers really didn't mind, you know. You were sort of waffling away, and the clock would be ticking away, and you thought, yes, yes, you know. That was absolutely marvellous. They were lovely to me too.
Lovely.